Hello everybody, we are leaving Guatemala. It's been great, but it's time to go. We are on our way to El Salvador. Okay, El Salvador, here we come. Yeah, of course you do.
Do you have that coffee or shoot?
I've got it, yeah, but let's get off and see what's going on. Good morning everyone, it's our first morning in El Salvador. We are at our hotel in San Salvador, and what we're going to do today is head to the War Museum. Let me explain a little bit. I mean, I am a history buff, as most of you know, it is my kind of thing. And when I was a kid growing up in the 80s, the Civil War, which started early 80s in El Salvador, that was always on the news, but basically I was too young to understand it. Later on in the 90s, when I was working in Australia, I met a few El Salvadorians who had basically come as refugees or whatever, or the parents had. So as they sort of told me the stories, I was always a bit more intrigued, and I sort of started to understand a little bit more, but certainly no more than that. Then I think late 90s, that's when I seen the movie, the Oliver Stone movie called Salvador, with James Woods, James Belushi, etc. So it was only then that I started to sort of get a bit more perspective on how it all worked. I was a bit older, a bit more mature and all the rest of it, a bit more knowledgeable, watched a few more documentaries. So El Salvador, it's always been a place with a lot of intrigue for me, and a place I have wanted to visit. So now I am eventually here. I want to go to the War Museum, hopefully understand even more, and then I can come away with a more rounded perspective of how it all started and how it all kind of basically transitioned and eventually finished. Hopefully we'll have a bit of good footage for you. So after breakfast, we're going to get a taxi over there. Yep, see you soon.
Okay, we are now at the military museum here in El Salvador. It's going to be quite interesting to go in and see what they have to offer here. Kelvin had to leave his driver's license as a deposit for being able to enter. Bye!
Perfect. Yeah, okay. So, what is your name? General Garcia?
Yeah, Colonel Ernesto Garcia.
Colonel Ernesto Garcia.
Yeah.
And you are standing near to the Presidente. Yeah? Presidente, your friend, yeah? Okay. That's very cool, man. Yeah, you are famous, yeah? I will try to zoom in a little bit more. And the guy in the middle, the bigger guy, is the president. And the guy second from the right, as you look at it, is Colonel Garcia. Okay? So they're the general staff that were out in Iraq and Afghanistan. So yeah, he was a really nice guy. He came and shown us around, shook our hands, you know, and kind of gave us a bit of a VIP tour, really. So super impressed. And yeah, it's been it surpassed what I expected, so I'm very happy, really. So we've just been met by someone who apparently seems quite famous in El Salvador. He's the colonel, and I'll show you the picture in a moment of him with his stood with the president. But basically, because they are allies with the US, there is, whatever you want to call it, some kind of agreement that they represent. So there is El Salvadorian soldiers in various places around the world, and as you can see here, even the usual Afghanistan and Iraq, but also even in Mali and places like that, you know. So I'm actually quite surprised with their level of commitment to world peace, actually. Even in Korea and places, they were allies with the US in Korea and many years ago. This here is a commemorative plaque for the forces. The way he explained it to me was not in NATO, but kind of aligned with NATO. So, you know, some political agreement. But the forces out in Afghanistan. So Colonel Garcia was just explaining that he's been to many places, Iraq, Afghanistan and whatever. So we were kind of blessed with royalty, really. Okay, I'll just try. I mean, some of the artwork is very clever, I've got to say. Like, I'm not sure if you can see it properly here, but you've got like a nest in a tree that's holding two people shaking hands. Then you've got here religious leaders with the partners, with the farmers, with a local medical guy. And then the little symbol here of the dove carrying the band of peace, and it reads Paz, reconciliación, democracia. And my interpretation of that, maybe it's not 100%, is the peace, democratic reconciliation and peace. And I mean, it symbolizes, but then discreetly underneath, there's a rifle that's growing into a corn plant, you know what I mean? So in other words, it's that let's use the rifles to make food instead of war, you know what I mean? No, I do think it's very discreetly done, yeah, and I really like it, you know, apparently made by local artists. Here's another cool painting. The children are praying to the corn plant. The corn plant, a flag is tied to the corn plant, kind of representing all the different people involved in the war. The farmers, the politicians and nurses and medical people, you know, the soldiers, etc., the farmer present, the religious community, you know, and the flag is sort of forming into what I interpret as an angel holding the peace treaty kind of thing. So yeah, and then you're overlooking the mountains and volcanoes in the background. So very discreetly done. I think it's very impressive actually, very impressive. Just as we're coming out of the museum, we noticed a little bit outside as well. And it's basically a man-made map, like a simulated map of El Salvador, showing the different regions. And as you get down and you look at the billboards, it kind of explains more about the different regions and how they were affected in the Civil War. So yeah, no, great actually, yeah, really informative if you're a history geek like me. We are just walking out of the military museum now, and just to give a bit of perspective here, people are coming and going. I presume they're just fellow tourists coming just to see. But just over 30 years ago, this was a military base in the conflict, in war, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just, here we are walking around freely. 30 years ago, we couldn't have walked here. It just wouldn't have been safe. It was a war zone. I don't know, it just seems, it's a combi, and then just see, like, you're overlooked by beautiful mountains and beautiful scenery, and the whole area was a conflict. And it just puts it into perspective of how lucky we are to live today, you know what I mean? If I'd have been born 20 years, well, no, if I'd have been born at the same time but in this country, I probably wouldn't be here today, because I'd have been killed in the war. I'd have been one of the many 70,000 people. So by just luck of birth, I would, not only was I safe, but I'm here being able to appreciate the glory of this great country today. So yeah, just a humbling thought to finish. Walking through San Salvador, we just got off a massive, big, busy street, and it looks like we're heading to the Centro Historica region, which is down here, according to Anna's map on her phone. Yeah, sort of quirky, cool little sort of places. We're in a bit of a run-down part of town now, but it's pretty cool to see.
A little bit of nice paintings here on the playground.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, it is. Now we're in a really run-down bit of town. Well, I don't know, what can you say? Yeah, but it still feels cool, man. I just like it. I just feel I like it, despite being all run down and whatever. Just got a soft vibe, man. Still walking through down dark little alleys. Yeah. Nah, feels great, man. Feels great. So walking through a little market area. Yeah, music playing, locals are shopping. It is absolutely cool as fuck, man. Yeah, I love it. A little bar on the lunch break, getting it. Nah, I think it's super cool, to be honest with you. I love it. This is me, just walking down the back alleys, back little dark streets, exploring. I mean, everybody looks at us because, yeah, I mean, it's probably rare as rare can be, just seeing a silly tourist walking through here, like. Nah, but it's cool, man. Yeah, it is just cool. Yeah, I love it. I love it. San Salvador. Hopefully I live to tell the tale.
Cruising through a market in San Salvador.
We're approaching Central Historical.
Another place with so many pigeons. Do not come here, Malin. Okay, I'll see if I can venture up here and give you a better view of what I can only imagine be a big cathedral. Yeah, it's quite beautiful. We found a nice little square here. Yeah, there is the cathedral. There's some other nice little statues and monuments. A man sitting on a horse. And then of course being surrounded by pigeons sitting all over him. Yeah, we just ventured out of the market and found this square.
Nice quaint little park. All the locals are here, the kids are playing and whatever. I passed there early morning. It was empty. I had a little training area and thought I'd do a bit of training, but it doesn't seem. I'm hoping it's not too busy. If not, I'll try and do a little bit of training. If it is, I'll have to do something back at the hotel, but we'll give it a go and see. Small workout finished, and yeah, just walking through the park home. But it's pretty cool, yeah, I gotta say. All the locals hanging out, playing a bit of basketball. And it is really cool actually. Kids are playing. Yeah, nice cool temperature, ideal way to finish your day.
Okay, we are at a barber's because Kelvin is getting his second haircut so far on our trip. The first one was in Puerto Escondido in Mexico. Now we are in San Salvador in El Salvador. See if they can understand it with the language now then. Language barrier. Alright, he's getting started. We'll see how the results will be.
Great haircut from my little friend here. $3.50. Real old school. Took his time, really careful and all that. So super happy. The one in Mexico was $5 about. This one was $3.50. It's getting cheaper. So let's hope it keeps and they're getting better. So yeah. So let's hope it keeps getting cheaper and better as we go along. All right. Really happy though, yeah, he's a great guy.
Okay, we are actually having dinner at a sports bar here in the area where we're staying in San Salvador. It's quite lively for being a Wednesday night.
I'm having my first El Salvadorian beer.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's alright.
Kelvin is having an El Salvadorian beer and he has ordered a typical El Salvadorian plate of food tonight with steak and sausage and some fried cheese, and I went for a more classic chicken burger with fries, but we'll do another video when the food comes and we'll see how it is. Okay, the food has arrived now and it's looking mighty good. My little chicken hamburger with some fries, and here is Kelvin's more traditional El Salvadorian plate with some steak, some chorizo, you had some fried cheese, chimichurri, tortillas.
Bit different than what I expected, but it does look good.
Yeah.
That's great.
He will give you the verdict after finishing the food. See you later.
So, when we got back to our hotel, we spent at least 2 hours filling in a load of bureaucratic forms to enter Honduras the following day. When we eventually got them done, we had to start sending photos of our passports and COVID passes and all the normal bureaucracy that goes with it. And then our guide, or our chauffeur, Alexander, he informed us that he's going to pick us up, not from our hotel, but from the local donut shop at 3:30 in the morning. And so this took us a little bit by surprise. We had to go on, get Google Maps, look where the place was, and when we eventually managed to book a taxi for 3 o'clock in the morning, we just kind of was a little bit apprehensive, to say the least. So we're heading for Mr. Donut, thinking to ourselves, is he actually going to be there? Is it the right address? Will we end up in Honduras, or will we just sit there having a donut breakfast? Check our next video to see what happened. See you in the next one. Bye.